לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. צפו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים לפני אוצר, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל Shabbat shalom, ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, ya la la ya la 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. We're fresh off of our first 2 nights of Passover. The taste of those perfectly fluffy matzah balls still in our mouths. Are there any really perfectly fluffy matzah balls? I don't know. And yet, what? Totally, yes. And yet, if you've been following the news out of Israel, you know that our festival of freedom and redemption feels like anything but that in the Promised Land. Conflict on the Temple Mount, rare cross-border fire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, intercepted missiles in the north and south of Israel, shooting attacks in the West Bank, and a shooting and ramming attack on the Tel Aviv beach promenade just this night remind us of how tenuous our sense of security can be. And we are forced to acknowledge some of the many modern plagues that afflict us all. But Shabbat is still necessary, still needed. If we do not create a sacred space for reflection and rejuvenation, we lack the strength to face what must be mended, to pray for safety and peace for all. As I wrote in Wednesday's email to VAR, at the Seder we recount the plagues and celebrate the miracle of liberation. All life is a balance. The more we are aware of the chametz, the better equipped we are to cross the sea towards freedom. So as we welcome Shabbat, I invite you to take a deep breath. create that Shabbos space we need to let in the light that will help show us the way. We begin our service on page 3 as we welcome Shabbat with light. It's my pleasure to invite up Chris Brown to offer the reading before our candle blessings.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat. Please join me in Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Shabbat kodsho, yavo v'ratzon hinechilanu. Zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila mikrei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vonu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'anim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava v'ratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. Join us on page 12 as we continue to welcome Shabbat joyfully with song L'chuna Ranana from Psalm 95.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. us on page 17 at the third paragraph down in singing Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho.
We turn now to page 20 as we join together, welcoming the Sabbath bride, singing Lecha Dodi. We sing verses 1 and 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, Ba'iva Shalom, we rise as a congregation and we face the entrance of our sanctuary to welcome that Sabbath bride, that Shabbos spirit that we feel when we sing together as one. Whether you're joining us here in the Wolf Sanctuary or in your own sacred space, watching through live stream, we need your voice and your spirit to make Shabbos truly come alive. Join with us.
Hum diddy dum diddy lecha dodi, hum diddy dum diddy lecha kala, hum diddy dum diddy lele Shabbat nekavela. Hum diddy dum diddy lecha dodi, hum diddy dum diddy lecha kala, hum diddy dum diddy lele Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi lecha kala. Shabbat diddy dum diddy lekadodi, diddy dum diddy likrakala, diddy dum diddy bene Shabbat nekavela. As we stood to greet that Sabbath bride, let us greet one another, wishing each other a Shabbat Shalom, letting each other know you're happy to see them. We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26 as we remain standing through Shema.
Yitkara v'yitkara Shemei Rabbah. Amen. Ve'amad yivrach eretei v'yanech malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyom echad. U'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael. V'gala, v'gala. U'v'zman kariv. V'imru. Amen. Yeshmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olam le'amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yit'omam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yit'alah shemei le'kodesha, v'yichu, le'ela min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushmechata v'nechelata, ta'niran be'ama, v'imru. Amen. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, 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 yai
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma potech sha'arim, uvitvane mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom ubein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Together on the top of page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Baruch Please join me on page 36 with the Haftarah.
A special Geula reading of redemption in honor of our Festival of Freedom, the words of President Abraham Lincoln. What constitutes the bulwark of our liberty and independence? It is not our frowning battlements, our bristling seacoasts, our army and our navy. These are not our reliance against tyranny. All of these may be turned against us without making us weaker for the struggle. Our reliance is the love of liberty which God has planted in us. Our defense is in the spirit which prizes liberty as the heritage of all men and women and all lands everywhere. Destroy this spirit and you have planted the seeds of despotism at your own doors. Familiarize yourselves with the chains of bondage and you prepare your own limbs to wear them. Accustomed to trample on the rights of others, you have lost the genius of your independence and become the fit subject of the first cunning tyrant who rises among you. Remembering the fight for freedom, remembering the fact that we crossed from slavery to freedom with hope in our minds and bravery in our hearts, we sing Micha Mocha on page 40.
No page 44. Tonight we're going to sing a new Vishamru for us. I think it was written a while ago, but it is by our own member, David Panansky.
I was too into it. I'm sorry. We are going to continue with the Amidah, which is going to begin on page 46, but I want to note for you that when we get to page 50 for our Givu Rot, we are now in the summer months, which you wouldn't know from the weather outside, but because we have reached Pesach, we are in the summer months, so we have changed from Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem to Morid Hatal, asking for that rain. So join together, beginning on page 46, we rise for the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotzeinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Ha'gadol, Ha'gibor v'Hanora, again. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Mezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh kol atah rav le'hoshia. Morid atah, Mechaper chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofech cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato b'shenei afar, lichamocha b'gevurot, u'midom elach, melech levit umekayem, u'matzmiach Yeshua. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim v'chayom yalelucha salah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We continue together at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 56. Find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your spirit upon us. We do the Pesach insert. Our God and God of our fathers and mothers, on this day of Pesach, be mindful of us and all your people Israel, for good, for love, for compassion, life, and peace. Remember us for well-being. Visit us with blessing.
Amen.
Help us to a fuller life.
Amen.
Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato litzion. Together at the top of page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lecha na'eh lehodot. We join together in our prayer for peace on page 60.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech Adon lechol hashalom.
Connected to prayers of peace are also prayers of joy and gladness, and so it's my pleasure to invite up Trent and Mark for a, don't even need last names, everyone knows you're just Trent and Mark, for a special anniversary blessing in front of the ark. I'm going to open the ark, but you can stay seated. Okay, there we go. Kol sason v'kol simcha, a voice of joy and a voice of gladness. We rejoice with these two grooms, Trent and Mark, who 20 years ago this week stood under their chuppah, their canopy of life commitment, right here on this bima, pledging themselves to one another. What a delight to be able to stand here before our open ark tonight, celebrating your life that continues to be unfolding together. On that fateful day back in 2003, when Rabbi Block stood with you, proudly officiating at our first same-sex wedding ceremony in the Wolf Sanctuary, he prayed that you know much joy and gladness throughout your years together. He prayed that you find strength of spirit for times of sorrow and friendship, and that your home be filled with delight, laughter, unending devotion for each other, and maybe some dogs as well. He counseled you to build a home built on acts of goodness so that you might experience an abundance of happiness, love, and peace. And you have built a life of meaning together, supporting the generations of your families with care and concern, and each of you has given unendingly of your time and your talents, serving as leaders in our Jewish community, both at Temple and beyond, behind the scenes and front and center, to the immense benefit of us all. And so, Trent and Mark, we pray that on this day, the pledge you made on your wedding day, which continues to sustain the spark of your love, will likewise keep you in goodness and in health. And just as you've journeyed life's path these past 2 decades, ever together, so may you continue to embrace, I know it's long, right? Life's joys and face life trials, always hand in hand. Looking to tomorrow, to many more years of happiness together, with the blessing of the Holy One abounding, filling your lives with sweetness, with hope, and with love. Amen. And Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov. From blessing to blessing, we offer prayers of hope and healing for those who face the future not fully whole. If there's someone in your life, someone you hold in your heart in need of healing, I invite you to think about them now. Close your eyes if you want, so you can picture them and whisper their names out loud. Linked together and strengthened by our combined prayers, we offer our prayer for healing, Misha Vera.
Help us find the courage
please take a moment for your own silent prayers.
Today was only the second full day of Passover, and my family is already sick of Passover muffins, potatoes, and eggs. I think we've already gone through 4 or 5 dozen eggs already. I don't blame them, but I'll keep insisting that they keep Passover for another 5 days. It's what we've always done, and what our parents and our grandparents did too. This week, because we are in the middle of Passover, we jump out of order in our weekly Torah readings. Last week we read from Parshat Tzav in the book of Leviticus, but tonight we go back to Exodus and read from a section of Parshat Ki Tisa, most famous for the golden calf. The section we read during Pesach begins right after the instigators and their followers are punished for their rebellion. Moses is despondent and frustrated and asks God for his own personal miracle, to see God's face, to see him through. And while God says no, he permits Moses to see his back before he must carve 2 new tablets and reenact Revelation once again. This time, when Moses ascends Mount Sinai, God comes down in a cloud and proclaims just what kind of God God is going to be. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Adonai, Adonai, a God compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and faithfulness, extending kindness to the 1000th generation, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin. Yet God will not remit all punishment, but visit the iniquity of parents upon children and children's children, upon the 3rd and 4th generations. Moses asks that God pardon the people's iniquity and sin. And God replies, I hereby make a covenant. Before all your people, I will work such wonders as have not been wrought on all the earth or in any nation. And all the people who are with you shall see how awesome are Adonai's deeds, which I will perform for you. God then offers a stern warning against idolatry of any type, goes on to note the 3 pilgrimage festivals with a heavy emphasis on Passover, and with this, the reading for this Shabbat in the middle of Passover ends. Technically, it's this last section about the festival that makes it the correct reading for Shabbat Chol HaMoed Pesach, but it's the interaction between Moses and God and the focus on covenant and the promise of further and future miracles that I think compels further discussion. Because even though the celebration of Passover is about liberation and ultimately redemption, the miracles from the 10 plagues to the splitting of the Red Sea tend to steal the show. We see it on this Shabbat, in this Shabbat's Exodus passage as well. Notably, however, God isn't looking back, but instead referring to miracles that are still yet to come. Before all your people, I will work such wonders as have not been wrought on all the earth or in any nation. There are traditional commentaries that try to explain this promise of so-called future miracles away, since none really compare to the miracles in Exodus. But the Hebrew, E'eseh niflaot, I will make for you wonders, is pretty straightforward. So why pick a section of Torah to be read in the middle of Passover that focuses on future wonders, rather than highlighting the miracles of the Exodus that are at the center of our Passover holiday? Perhaps it is to emphasize the importance of the middle days of the holiday and encourage us to think about what niflaot, wonders, really are. It's a natural tendency to highlight the flashy, miraculous events of the Jewish story. Yet, we see time and again, from the moment after the 10th plague, when the Hebrews are set free, all the way to the end of Deuteronomy, when they are on the edge of the promised land, that the Israelites are quick to disregard the miraculous in favor of a chronic sense of disgruntlement through their wanderings. As Rabbi Bradley Shavit Artson explains, miracles clearly seem to be an ineffective way of inculcating a consciousness of God. In fact, the entire Bible can be read as a book about the inability of God to teach the Jews to be grateful. The Bible indeed seems to indicate that miracles don't work. People marvel at them while they are taking place, and then forget about them the moment they're finished. So why promise more miracles when they don't seem to be an effective way to cement the covenant? Think matzah brai, or matzah pizza, or matzah lasagna, lots of egg whites. Any other creative substitute for chametz you can think of during these 7 or 8 long days of Passover. I think that each creative Passover hack is a miracle unto itself. Despite what my cranky children may think, they are the niflaot that God is talking about. Because after the grand seders with their sumptuous feasts and their intricate stage productions, we're left with regular life, only with extra restrictions thrown in for fun. And somehow we're meant to make those days as holy as the first 2. On one hand, coming up with enticing Passover breakfast and lunch options for ourselves, let alone children, if you have them at home, isn't easy or fun. But in the planning and preparation, something important happens. We're forced to slow down and think. We're given an extra opportunity to consider the blessings we have, about the refrigerator and pantry full of food, about the family and friends that gathered around our Seder table, about the freedoms and opportunities we are still fortunate to possess. These are daily miracles we often disregard. Jewish tradition invites us not only to think about the big flashy moments as miracles, but to see our basic competencies and our mundane tasks as holy as well. The majority of our lives are actually filled with intermediary days, the ones that fill in between the big events, the celebrations and milestones. They're the ones that actually count the most. And if Passover was only 2 days, we'd probably miss the point. This year, my daughter Miriam discovered that she loves potato kugel, and she couldn't believe that I have been making it every year her entire life. And while she feels the constraints of keeping Passover, she's also fiercely proud of her traditions and ready to explain them to all her non-Jewish friends. Judaism leaves plenty of room for crankiness, God knows we all fit in, mixed in with the wonder. Because inhabiting a life that is filled with meaning and purpose requires us to find the miracles in the mundane and to seek out the wonders that occur around us all the time, even if that includes eating lots and lots of chocolate matzah just to make it through. Amen.
We continue with Aleinu, page 283. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת קדילה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Our memorial meditation can be found on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community and extended community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Victor Bennett, Malcolm Jack Berlowitz, Harold Bormaster, Alfred Brody, Theodore Brown, Emmanuel M. Cohen, Sylvia Cohen, Iris Sue Cook, Ernestine Cooper, Gladys Delkowitz, Nora Delkowitz, Beth Eisen, Eva Feldman, Alvin Friedman, Ann Gardner, M. Bernard Gardner Sr., Marty Garza, Shlomo Ben Shimon Gatan, Labe Golden, Jeanette Grossman, Jack Guggenheim Jr., Anita Gurney, Edward Eddie Manuel Halfant, Jake Hendon, Wilma Kathleen Jones, Sid Katz, Trieste Kennedy, Ida King, Sydney Klein, Dorothy Koch, Leon Crandall, Howard Kressbach, Fanny Label, Melvin Lockman, Nathan Ladon, George Lavin, Leo Joseph Lichten, Barney Lipman, Shirley Klein Markey, Gerald Marks, Winifred Mead, Paul Drew Neinschwinder, Sam Ojeda, Ralph Pearl, Goldie Pearlstone, Richard Panansky, Tom Panansky, Barbara Power, Rose Rakobi, Sam Radinsky, Margarita C. Rodriguez, Fanny Rubenstein, Kalman Sater, Hillary A. Sanders, Dr. Roger Schwartz, Steve Singer, Carolyn Smolkin, Joe Strauss, Dora Torchin, Kevin Trout, Minnie Trodlier, Nathan Trotner, Hugo Wechter, Elsa Weiss, Mike Weiss, and Dr. Elliot Wesser. To these names, we add the names of those who've been laid to their eternal rest in the past 30 days, whose family are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Stanley Friedman, Kathy Peterson, and Abraham Langbaum. We also think of those who've been laid to their eternal rest in the past week, whose family and friends are in a mourning period of Shiva. We remember Annette Sapiro, mother of Harriet and David Oppenheimer, grandmother of Rebecca and Scott Nathan, Daniel Oppenheimer and Laura Gross, and Jacob Oppenheimer, great-grandmother of Libby and Lyle Nathan. Remember Lee Benjamin, husband of Lourdes Benjamin, father of Adrian, brother of Todd and Sonia and Peter and Stacy, and uncle to many nieces and nephews. We also remember Rabbi Ed Zarin, cousin of Audrey Hankin and Roxanne Hankin and Mary Lou Doherty. We also remember Barbara Alper, cousin of Audrey Hankin and Roxanne Hankin and Mary Lou Doherty. To all of these names, we add those which are in our hearts each and every day as we turn to the words of Kaddish Yatom on page 294, rising together as one community. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'yomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudasha b'richu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, u'ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to call forward Debbie Roos, President of our Board of Trustees, to deliver tonight's announcements.
I'd like to welcome everyone, and I'm so glad that you could be here in our sanctuary or at home in your own sacred space. Thank you to Chris Brown for lighting our Shabbat candles this evening, and thank you so much to the beautiful voices of Kol Simcha, our incredible and amazing volunteer choir. And to Aaron McAdams, wherever you just went to. You were phenomenal. Thank you so very much. On Wednesday and Thursday of this week, I had an experience that I suspect that many of you had as well. One, frankly, that we've had for generations. It's a tradition that literally recounts our blessings, even the smallest of ones. It left me feeling grateful, peaceful, and humble. We know it as Dayenu. As I considered Temple Beth-El through this lens, I thought I'd share with you some of the things that alone would have been enough for this almost 149-year-old institution of ours. Had Palmetto Cemetery been established, but Temple Beth-El not formally chartered, Dayenu. Had Temple Beth-El been formally chartered, but a building not been established on Travis Street, Dayenu. Had a building been established on Travis Street, but our red dome not grown on Ashby and Belknap, Dayenu. Had our red dome grown on Ashby and Belknap, but faithful clergy not forged religious, communal, and social justice pathways, Dayenu. Had faithful clergy forged religious, communal, and social pathways, but philanthropic congregants not invested in our financial legacy, Dayenu. Had philanthropic congregants invested in our financial legacy, but loyal staff and volunteers not been the arms, legs, and heartbeat of the organization, Dayenu. Oh, you got it. Had loyal staff and volunteers been the arms, legs, and heartbeat of the organization, but the elders not provided wisdom and leadership, Dayenu. And had the elders provided wisdom and leadership, but the children not provided songs and beautiful stained glass windows into our next 150 years, Dayenu. Each one of these things in and of itself is so wonderful, and alone it would have been enough. And together we say, Dayenu. Here's some upcoming events at the temple. Last day of Passover Festival Worship Service with Yizkor Memorial Prayers are on Wednesday, April 12th at 10:30 a.m. And as a reminder, the temple offices will be closed on that day. Our Sunday Scholars Series continues on Sunday, April 16th with Rachel Stern. Her discussion topic will be, as Reformed Jews, are we still a commanded people? Please save the weekend of April 28th through the 30th for a few days of Musar exploration with Dr. Alan Marinas. This will be an exploration of Jewish ideas about how the respect or disrespect we show others impacts our relationships, our families, our communities, and our own souls. For more information about both these adult learning opportunities, please visit the upcoming events page on the Temple website. We invite you to join us on Sunday, May 7th at 4:30 for our congregation's annual meeting. While the adults are meeting, there will be childcare for the littlest ones and activities for youth through high school. Following the meeting, we will reunite families and invite everyone to join us for dinner, kindly sponsored by the Temple Brotherhood. One of the key pieces of business at this year's meeting is a set of changes to the bylaws. There will be 2 town hall meetings before the annual meeting to discuss these proposed changes. One to be held on Friday, April 14th at 1 p.m. These are both at Temple. And the other to be held on Thursday, May 4th at 7 p.m. Please RSVP for the annual meeting and the town halls by May 1st on the upcoming events page on the Temple website. Everything going on at Temple is listed on our website calendar and in our weekly email, which arrives in your inbox around 4 p.m. every Thursday afternoon. Have a sweet and joyous Passover and Shabbat Shalom.
In celebration of Pesach, our closing song is God of Mights, page 362. Please rise.
God of might, God of right, thee we give all glory. Thine all praise in these days, as in ages glory. When we hear, year by year, freedom's wondrous story. Now as erst, when thou first made the proclamation, warning loud every proud, every tyrant nation, we thy fame still proclaim, bowed in adoration. Be with all who in thrall to their tests are driven. By thy power speed thee on, when their chains are riven. Earth around will resound, joyful hymns to heaven.
Shabbat Shalom and happy Passover.
Yes.